Hello again, everybody. Sebastian here with another Watch Your Realms video. In this one, as I promised, I was going to dissect out more of the previous two patch notes that have been released here in the Forerunner server. And so what I did is I took out the camp notes, all those features, and I have made a separate video on that. I'll remember to add a card in here, so if you want to go watch that, you can look at it. And I also then took out everything in relation to the Titanic ruins, because those of you in the global server will never get to experience the initial format, the beta version that we got here in the Forerunner server. You are most likely going to get the more difficult version of that. So let me get adjusted to it. I'll make a separate video of that, and I'm going to let you know exactly what it is that you can look forward to when that content is released into the global server. But for now, let's just go over, and I'm going to tell you what we can expect to see in the Forerunner server and what might be coming up to you in the global server. So let's get started. All right, so when it comes to the gear and solder fragments, the developers have now said that they are going to increase the drop rate of the ancient mythic gear for gear dungeons and gear rate. They didn't say exactly what percentage it was. So if it was previously 0.1% as an example, or 0.3%, whatever it was, it doesn't mean that just, increasing it by 0.05. That's exactly what they could be meaning here. So we'll do the math. We'll figure out how much greater the drop rates are after this patch rolled out. Also, they're saying that we are going to get increased probability of getting ancient pieces from all the forging that we do, especially from the materials that we get from the gear dungeon. Now, I will come back to the Demonic Crusade here in a second. But now, instead of once this Demonic Crusade that is in the global server, that event is over. For us in the Forerunner server, it has been over for a while. But once that is done in the global server, what's going to happen then is that we're going to get an opportunity to get fragments for the new demon soldiers from chests or from farming gear rates. So that's essentially the other one, the other change that they made here in regards to that. When it comes to the guild war, they did a whole adjustment in terms of calculations, and you're going to see the scores of your guildmates a little bit more. They're going to make viewing the garrisons a little bit more easily. There is actually now like a magnifying glass that you can click on the team. So instead of clicking attack to look at the formation, you just click the hourglass and it pops the formation right up right away. So you don't have to go back and forth with that. Defense wins are actually now going to add to your contribution points. So that actually counts. It makes you want to get a defense put together. What's other stuff that I see here? There was a problem with the quick affiliation where sometimes you would go and change the affiliation of your heroes and it wouldn't really right away carry over. So when you quick affiliated, sometimes it would then take the previous affiliations. So what your former hero had, which was, let's say, 90K, and you change gear around and now 70K, it would not go and pick the hero with the highest BP. It would actually pick the original hero. So that's why you saw those discrepancies with the quick affiliate, and that's why in my guild we do not recommend using quick affiliations, especially if you're toying around with your gear later on in between the battles. They're going to fix the interface transition issue when setting up lineups. All right, that's fine. And there was an issue with HP being incorrectly displayed in the Guild War screen. They changed that. So that's kind of the changes they made to the Guild War. Nothing yet on whether new maps are going to come up. Nothing yet on matchups, calculations. Nothing yet on the point system. When it starts the season, the point system that the guilds get, nothing has changed in that regard yet. Hopefully soon. Apparently the friend system is getting a little bit of an overhaul. They added a new friend sorting button now that you can do by how long they've been offline. All right, that's fine. They optimized the display effect of the list when selecting friends. Okay. And they also optimized the friend request handling. So apparently now, if you get requests from a person that already has a full friend list, that will automatically delete it. Perfect. And apparently direct messages have been optimized. We'll figure that out. When it comes to hero adjustment, so the Unnameable faction is going to get new heroes added to it. Finally, we've been waiting for this for a while. So apparently there's going to be a new faction skill called the Ancient Blood, and it increases the team members' damage by 4%. Then in the patch notes that they released 2 weeks ago, they added this, that the Ancient Blood can then coexist with the Lord skills. So Ajax seems to be the principal here for this faction, the Lord for the faction. Finally, making him an excuse to reset our pity for Lords with the Ancient Crystals. But his skill could be enhanced or could be teamed up with the Ancient Blood to add damage to it. So what people were thinking is, oh, now we can add unnameable units, and that will stack up. Well, in the subsequent patch notes, they said, oh, by the way, there's a new rule. You can only deploy one hero in the team for this to take effect. So that whole idea was scrapped, all right? But with the Awaken 2, so if you have your Ajax Awaken 2, the Ancient Blood bonus will get boosted by him. So perfect. Gives us a reason to want to pursue Ajax. And if you get him all the way to Awaken 4, his cost will be reduced by 5 instead of 3. So that's kind of the change that will go on with Ajax and the future unnameable new faction members. Let's talk about Nabros. Nabros really got an interesting... I'm going to look to see if this is an actual buff. Can he actually do more damage now? Because they added a talent to him. So now when the ultimate is not activated, he summons a strong minion, and it looks like you can skill this up. And it says every 12, 10, 8 seconds, and each basic attack reduces the skill cooldown by 1 second. So he's going to summon the strong minion. And during the ultimate, he then summons another strong minion for the 12 times of damage dealt. For every 12 times of damage dealt. That's so, you know, he launches all those little straws. So now he'll get 1 straw minion out every time. Now the straw minion, apparently, once ready, will track enemies with Nabros attack range, and upon reaching that enemy, it will self-destruct, dealing 100% AoE damage. The straw minion then lasts for 10 seconds with a maximum of 2 present at the same time. So you could have 2 of these and 2 of them blow up. This is going to be really interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to become Guild Wars effective. We'll see. We'll see. We have to test all of this out, right? And those with the test server access can actually get ahead of this. So then the straw minion skill revamped. When the talent is triggered, there is a 25% chance to summon 2 additional straw minions instead and increase their attack by 3, 6, 9, 12, 12. So this is, I guess, as you promote them. Wow. So with the ultimate, you can have 2 with a maximum of 2. So even if you don't have... Even without the ultimate, you can still have 2 out there. Wondering, I hope the multipliers are significant enough for him to be able to do a little bit more damage. So yeah, so we're looking forward to this buff. Let's just say it's a buff for now. His awakenings have been changed. His Spirit Raven now gains an additional 20% crit rate. Or currently, in his Awaken 1, his Spirit Raven gains an additional 20% crit rate. They're going to change that when the talent is triggered. Increases his crit rate by 20% for 6 seconds. His Awaken 5 is getting changed from the Spirit Raven's damage increasing by 20%. Now is going to be during the Spirit Raven, his damage overall will increase by 20%. Okay, so that's what those 2 awakenings have changed. They've added some exclusive artifacts, and so you can see here that Constant now has her own exclusive artifact. With the Tome of Holy Light, her attack will increase by 5%, and then during the anthem, it heals allies in range excluding the hero, for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13% of base healing every second. So, you know, she gets a little bit of a boost with her attack, and she heals a little bit more. So that's her exclusive. Wrath exclusive was really interesting. I think that they meant for him to use this to be a boss damage dealer, and I can already think of this having a big benefit in Semrah. So his damage will dealt to elites and bosses will increase 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25%. His ultimate duration will last 10 seconds. Damage during the ultimate is 30%, increases by 30%. And if the AoE attack of the heady blow only hits one target, his attack then ignores 20% of the target's defense. Semrah's defense scales over time when he is in his shield mode. This will definitely help in trying to bring that down. So I can already think of benefits of this. Let's talk about Theowen. Theowen, he'll actually now be, the way that I'm reading this, he could actually be now become a booster for those that deal physical damage. So there are going to be several areas in the game where you can actually make this work. His Storm Tricality, the damage to airborne units increased 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25%. So I guess increases once you level the artifact. His Hamstring also inflicts a 10% vulnerability, piercing, or physical damage on enemies. This is actually going to be very good on him. People already use him for Arena, and some like to use them for Guild Wars. So anytime you add a little bit of vulnerability to get the damage up, it becomes into a benefit. I mean, and I can't think of another epic who would benefit from an artifact that adds vulnerability just so you can use them in at least one facet of a game. I mean, oh man, hard to think of another epic that would really come in handy. Would use an exclusive artifact that would just give them a little bit of vulnerability. All right, the next one is going to be Livian. Livian is going to get the Shield of Valor, so her max HP will increase. And then during the Elven Blessing, she deals 100% AoE damage up to 5 targets every 10 seconds and restores her HP by 10%, which is good. One of her things is that it's hard to keep her alive, but you know, once we get a full awaken, that ultimate is always on. Now that we can provide a little bit of survivability of her, I have already shown you that she can do great things in the Hellfire Emperor. That this artifact will actually even help her more if that is where you want to go with it, instead of using the Bastion. Greed is actually going to get really strong now with this artifact. So his attack will increase 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15% when you upgrade. Then when you deploy him, it immediately gains 3 stacks of Soul Reaping. So his Soul Reaping gives him an additional 10% attack for, I think it was 16 seconds, right? I can look in the, you can go ahead and double check me looking at his passive. And then you can scale that up to, I think, to 20 seconds. So when you deploy him with this artifact, he already gains 3 stacks of it. So now we're at 10, 20, 30. And if you start killing enemies, he says then a 50% chance of getting 2 more stacks on top of that. So his base is 30, 25. When you start then adding all this, I think they're multiplicative. Once you start adding all of this, his attack just will scale high up. So that'll be really interesting to see what we can get him to do. And I'm looking forward to testing that out. We're going to get an additional fighter limited mythic artifact. This increases max HP by 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7% every 10 seconds on the field, stacking up to 3 times. And then upon reaching the max stacks, it increases damage by 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 12%. All right. So you probably want to make sure that you use this in, like, increases max HP. So something like Gluttony, right? we could try something on that on him like this. Any type of fighter that scales off HP. That's what I'm thinking. Rourke maybe. So we'll certainly look to see what this one will add to the contribute to the artifacts that we already have. And the defenders are also getting another mythic. It's called the Talisman of Resolve. So while shielded, increases damage by 20, 23, 26, 29, 32, and 35%. This effect lasts for 6 seconds after the shield vanishes. So I guess the Northerners are the ones that you think right away could benefit from this if you could get them to do damage. So we'll see what areas of the game we can use this in. We usually prefer to use Bastion Rings for most of the content in the game, but this one gives them a little bit of heads up if you can shield them. So let's test that out, see how good this artifact becomes. As I read it, I would say it's kind of like an A tier-ish type of artifact. It's not going to be S like the Bastion Ring is. They're going to add a skin shop, folks. So now if you missed out on any of the skins previously, especially if you have to pay for them or you had to pursue some type of ultimate leaderboard for them, you're going to be able to now get them at a price in the shop. Like I said previously, the Demonic Crusade will come back and it will be permanently added to the event hall. So if you didn't get to clear some of the stages, don't worry, you'll have time. You'll be able to clear them at your own pace. But anything regarding the daily challenge, that's going to be abolished. And you're going to have to get fragments for the Steamian Shoulders by doing gear raids. Other notables that came about, apparently now you're going to be able to filter your avatars, based on whether you own them or not. Oh, finally, one of the big things, folks, they're finally going to be removing legendary gear from hard and nightmare difficulties. Let's hope that we get more mythic gear drops there. They optimize some of the quests in Odyssey. They don't say specifically. We're going to go look to see what changed. Hopefully they changed the one where they're asking you to do 50 arena battles. That was pain in the butt. Or where they require you to win 20. So if you don't have a stacked account, trying to get 20 wins might take you a while. They did something with the gear selling feature. So apparently now doing select all, you'll be able to select the non-recommended gear. So essentially, if they don't have the thumbs up, you can just select that and sell it if you want. They're adding skid stories. So if you're interested in any lore regarding the skin or the new look, then you can go look and see why they adopted that look. I'm really interested to see what they come up with Silas for that awful skin. And then apparently they updated the incremental download rewards. So the only thing that changed, I think, was the diamonds. It went from 50 to 100. And they're going to say that they're going to give them to you even if you're collecting them. I think that in the update that in my mailbox, I do think that they gave me the whole thing again. So I get another rename scroll if I want to change my name for any reason. So that's it, folks. That was the rest of the patch notes. So I think that for me, the thing that I'm really interested in more on is Greed's artifact. That's the one I'm looking forward to testing and see if we can get anything great out of it. And like I said, Semrah of the Titanic Ruins. That is the next thing that I'm going to look, and I'm going to see how much more difficult it is and what is it that you can expect to see when it launches in global server. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. Please do remember to hit like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to comment. Is there anything that you did not like or that you're looking forward to seeing when this comes up to global? Until the next time, see you then.
Defeat won't define me.